My daughter Aisha is 11, and she's one of the bravest people I know, not because life has been easy for her, but because it hasn't. She has a speech disability that makes it difficult for her to form words quickly, especially when she's nervous, and while most people are kind and patient, there are always those who choose not to understand. We were at a small neighborhood gathering in the community courtyard that evening, families talking, kids playing, the usual calm atmosphere. Aisha was excited but a little anxious, holding my hand as we walked in. I could feel her grip tighten, so I gave her a reassuring squeeze. "Take your time," I told her softly. She nodded. For a while, everything was fine. She stood with a small group of kids, trying to join their conversation, pushing through the hesitation the way she always does. And then Karen showed up. Loud, confident, the kind of person who doesn't just enter a space, she takes it over. At first, she was just talking to other adults, but then her attention shifted. She noticed Aisha trying to speak, pausing, struggling slightly to get her words out. And instead of waiting, she laughed. Not loudly at first, but enough. Enough for others to hear. Enough for Aisha to notice. "What is that?" Karen said, her tone sharp and dismissive. "Spit it out." The courtyard fell quieter. Aisha froze. I saw it immediately, the way her shoulders dropped, the way her eyes lowered. That small moment of courage she had built up started to slip away. "She just needs a moment," I said, keeping my voice calm but firm. But Karen didn't stop. She tilted her head slightly, mimicking the way Aisha had spoken. I can't understand you," she said mockingly. That was it. The line had been crossed. The kind of line you don't walk back from. I stepped forward, my voice steady but carrying across the space. "That's enough." People were watching now. Conversations had stopped. The energy had shifted. Karen looked at me, almost amused. "What?" she said. "I'm just asking her to speak clearly." Aisha stood beside me, quiet, hurt, trying to hold herself together. And in that moment I made a decision. Not to argue. Not to match her tone. But to respond in a way she wouldn't expect. I crouched slightly beside Aisha. "You want to say something?" I asked gently. She hesitated, then nodded. I stood back up, giving her space, but staying close. The courtyard was completely silent now. Aisha took a breath, another, and then she started to speak. Slowly, carefully, each word taking effort, but each one clear with intention. "My name is Aisha," she said, her voice soft but steady. "I take time to speak." There was a pause. You could feel everyone listening, not impatient, not distracted, but present. "But I still deserve respect." The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was heavy in a different way. Karen's expression changed. Just slightly, but enough. The confidence she had walked in with wasn't there anymore. The laughter? Gone. Around us, people reacted. A few nodded. Someone quietly said, "Exactly." Another parent stepped closer, placing a supportive hand on my shoulder. The atmosphere had shifted completely. Not because of anger, but because of truth. Karen opened her mouth like she was about to respond, but nothing came out. There was nothing to say. Not anymore. Because in that moment, Aisha had done something far more powerful than any argument. She had made everyone stop and listen. Really listen? The rest of the evening was different. People spoke to Aisha with patience, with kindness. Kids included her, not out of pity, but because they understood her better now. And Karen? She stayed quiet, kept her distance. The authority she thought she had dissolved into something smaller. A few days later, the HOA sent out a message not naming anyone, but reminding residents about respect, inclusivity, and community standards. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic, but it mattered. And Aisha? She kept speaking. Still slowly, still carefully, but with something new behind it, confidence. Because she had learned something important that day. And honestly, so had everyone else. Karen thought she was pointing out a weakness, but what she actually did was give my daughter a chance to show her strength. And that's something no one there will forget.